sport of boxing for techniques and breakdowns, something I can do the basics of, but would never try to jump into those waters as he does. But nonetheless, we thought that we had something special to offer the channel in our own way. He agreed, and with the help of Boxing Gems, we're very proud of the episode that we did. I highly encourage you to go check that out. But as far as today, here on our show, we're going to talk about the flyweight division and the upcoming bout between Juan Francisco El Gallo Estrada versus Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Their third fight, by the way, and every one of them has been action-filled and absolutely incredible. So before we delve deep into this, we are going to kind of make a disclaimer. I am a gigantic Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fan. I think that he is absolutely incredible. However, I will acknowledge the fact that, Estrada was given basically no chance. If you go back, look at odds for their first fight, look at comments and videos and posts and so on and so forth about them before they had their first fight, Estrada was basically given no chance at all by anybody, and he created an instant classic. Though he did deserve to lose that fight, he showed so much heart, will, determination, nothing mattering but the absolute goal of it all. And he gave his best efforts, which was absolutely commendable. That being said, he also has fought for years, especially at the start of his career, many times, as many fighters do. But he started his pro career quite young, and if you go back and look at his record and the dates of his fights, he has so much back-to-back work without a break. Even sometimes meaning quite literally month to the very next month. So this is absolutely like incredible consistency in his fighting career until it comes to more recently, right? So, but either way, that is highly commendable, and he's had so much of that. If you go back and look at his career before his first fights with Carlos Cuadras and Chocolatito, he has so many fights back to back with almost no break. A true warrior, absolutely, and a great Mexican boxer who is a bit underrated. But these are just kind of things that we grant him to start this off. Before talking about this fight and our just our honest opinion on it, as honest as I can give it. Things are different now than they were before in that way. As any fighter and any fight is, their first fight was almost a decade ago. So considering that, it doesn't really mean much. Now, their second fight was an absolute classic again, and even better than the first. They gave the win at that time to Estrada even. Although I am of the belief, of course, that Chocolatito won that fight. You would assume it's because I'm a fan of him, but I really try to give my honest opinion always on the show. I intentionally think that you can have whatever opinion you want, but you have to give some good points on it. You have to be realistic. And whether you're agreeing with someone else who has a popular opinion or you have an unpopular opinion of your own, you need to be able to defend it intelligently and not just simply because you're a fan of a guy. So I have intentionally made it an effort ever since starting this podcast of not doing that. And so this is my honest take. But that being said, Chocolatito, not only is he a future Hall of Famer, but his last fight against Cortez, being Estrada, His last fight against Cortez, he did not look good at all. He didn't look good at all. He got his bell rung quite a few times. And to be honest, it's like I love this guy too. I don't hate him at all. But these are just the honest facts, man. Go check out his last fight. It's debatable as to if he should have even got the win at all. Not to mention, even if you thought he won, he definitely didn't look good. And the thing is Cortez people didn't give him a lot of chance. So we want to give him his credit. Cortez is a good fighter, and though I thought Estrada should have made easier work of him, I have respected Cortez and is aware of the type of boxer that he is. So I thought always that would be a good fight. But making an argument that Cortez could have won that fight after the fact is kind of nuts. That is happening, and then to go back on Chocolatito's last fight with Martinez, who was undefeated. Roman Chocolatito is just absolutely out of control. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but he's really, man, he's still got it. He has not at all lost his edge, not at all. And I did not think that, he lost that last Estrada fight. Never mind seeing what Estrada did after that and seeing versus, what Chocolatito did after that. He has Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez has one of the highest outputs in boxing as far as punch stats are concerned. As an active fighter today, he is up there within the top 3 of punch outputs in boxing today. He also uses his punches very well. As far as, many of his initial punches are simply to break the guard or to take an angle and for a specific purpose, even if they don't land. So he'll create openings to land the clean shots, and he knows what he's doing as far as there's not an opening and I happen to land a clean shot. This is all very planned out and calculated by Roman, as far as the first punches are just to do something else. They're to create an opening. They're to take an angle. That is what they're for, and they're not intended to land hard. They're created to open up my intentional, stronger shots that I do actually intend to land clean, and he does most of the time. He's very effective in using this type of strategy. And like I said, he's a bit older, especially as far smaller weight classes go. But this does not stop him from having one of the most, and here's the key word, wisely used gas tanks. Wisely used gas tanks in boxing. That's the key word. So he does have a great gas tank, period, in general. But we're not just saying that. We're saying that he uses his cardio in such a way that is very well suited, in my opinion, for boxing in general. Because there are people with good cardio and there are people with not so good cardio. If you take those people with good cardio, that may just mean they have they have a great work ethic, obviously, right? In the gym and so on and so forth to kind of do that. But that doesn't always mean they use it wisely. It may just mean that they get into wars, or even if they're losing rounds, they just don't gas out in the later rounds. That doesn't really mean that they're not that they're using it in the best sense. And so when I say that Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez uses his cardio so wisely, what I mean by that is that he's not a slow starter as far as rounds in the fight go, but he tends to be a slower starter and calculating round by round as the rounds go on. So round by round as the rounds go on, he will every round start a little slower and calculate, almost like some fighters use the entirety of the fight. He uses every round individually, like fighters use the entirety of the fight. They figure out things in the beginning and start a little slow, and then they intentionally pick it up and really try to impress and win the round. But instead of winning the fight, and sometimes people aren't able to get going as soon as they via Vasily Lomachenko, Roman Gonzalez kind of holds this strategy round by round. He has great head movement, great upper torso movement. His punches are mainly hooks, uppercuts, shovel punches, whether they be to the head or the body. You know, his style is built for inside fighting. He is the greatest active inside fighter in boxing today. Usually people don't sit on the inside because if they get on the inside, they're using that intentionally for a moment, whether it be to get a break or expose a hole in the defense. But either way, they usually back out. Now they might go back into the inside to do that, to get a break, to clinch, whether that's for a break or for work from the clinch. They'll go back to this, of course, but that is a way of like breaking up the rhythm of a fight and to mix it up and to leave your opponent guessing as to when you're going to start going inside and uppercutting and going to the body, or whether you need a break and you will disguise things to get a clinch, or whether you're doing work from the clinch. There is intentional purpose for doing this sort of fighting. And Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is truly unique in the sense that his entire fighting style is built on trying to get on the inside. And he will not let that inside fighting go on his terms. You will have to break him of that, because it is never his intention to back up to get from the inside. You know, he'll use leaping jabs, leaning in jabs and leaping kind of hooks and things to close the distance intentionally to get on the inside. And once he does, he wants to keep the fight there, and he doesn't care if the entire fight happens there, because he is of the belief that most people don't fight on the inside because you will get hit if you fight on the. It's dirtier. It's not as clean as like it can be learning the sweet science of boxing. That's usually going to be, like I say, you can go on the inside and mix it up, but it's usually going to be from the outside. He is of the belief that he can master this place that most people are uncomfortable to remain for the entirety of a fight via like a Gotti Ward 1 type of situation. And that his defense, intelligently doing this, and not just as a warrior with a good chin and good cardio, but his intent on doing this is that he believes that his defense, although it cannot be perfect, like a Mayweather fighting on the inside as he does, is better nonetheless than his opponents will ever be, and he believes he is the best at this. That is why he intends to make the fights, all of his fights, the way they are. Now, you know, we would be remiss if we did not say that, you know, Roman Gonzalez was knocked out before by Cerise de Soy Rungvisai at fighting on the inside and such, but that is a rare exception. He really truly is the greatest inside fighter. And you just look at his punch stats, and you just look at his style of fighting, fight after fight after fight, with zero exceptions of I hate to use these terms, but running or whatever kind of terminologies you would use. He is a fan-friendly action style fighter, right? And this third fight even just gives me like Barrera Morales type feels, you know, and so did their other fights. And so these are just great fights. This is our third fight, though I did believe Chocolatito won both fights and not just the first. Nonetheless, this is the rubber match. We're highly excited for this, and as far as predictions go, not only do I think that Chocolatito wins this fight, I honest to God think he has a very good chance of stopping Estrada this time. And that is based off of trying to keep things as simple as we can in a complex sport, and looking at the fights that they have had, the first two, especially the second, as that was not a decade ago, and then looking at how they've done after those fights individually, with the fights they have taken in between the second fight with them and this third one that is upcoming on Saturday. I really believe that we can see possibly Chocolatito stopping Estrada in this fight. sadly, because they've put on such wars, I also think this one won't be one side. It'll be another war. But we have a possibility of seeing Chocolatito stop Estrada this time, being that their performances are going in different directions after that second fight, for sure. And until next time, loyal fight fans, this has been fun. Please go check out the Boxing Gems episode we were able to offer up on that great podcast. Of course, go subscribe to him. And if you haven't subscribed to your boy already, I just don't know what we're waiting for. We give you real intelligent boxing knowledge. We stay involved in the sport. We do have good things to say. We try to remain unbiased on this podcast as well, though we do not suffer fools gladly.